We've been talking about this big concert. It happened. It was fantastic. Were you looking forward to it as much as we were?
I sure was. I mean, this is a beautiful island. The people have been great, and you guys have an amazing setup here.
Yeah.
Not bad studio, huh?
Not a bad studio.
You might want to think about getting yourself one.
I should. I wouldn't mind recording here all my albums.
Yeah. You're traveling a lot?
I am actually traveling a lot. Just got back. Was in, where was I? I forgot where I was.
Yeah.
I think I was in London.
Oh, my.
And then London, I went to, I was in Curacao.
Wow.
Doing some stuff there for Germany, and here I am now.
Have you ever had to look out the hotel window to realize where you are?
It's never gotten that bad. I don't drink that much.
or when you're on stage and you say, "Hello, Toronto," have you ever made a mistake?
Fortunately, that's never happened to me, actually. I've made stupid mistakes. Because you travel constantly, when it came down, especially to soccer teams, but not when it came down to actually the place I was at.
Right.
I don't think it's a big deal if you do that with city names. It's when you do it in a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it gets. Let's talk about your Toronto connection. Can we do that?
My what?
Your Toronto connection.
Yes, ma'am.
You kind of gave up a little bit on school or something like that. Bring us up to date on that.
I did. When I was 18, graduated from high school, went to University of Miami, and a year into my studies, I actually moved to Toronto, Canada. And the reason why I moved there, I think I've said this a lot in my interviews, is because if it was a place where I didn't know absolutely anybody. It was a city that I had read so much about. I liked it, just what I had read about it, and I thought it'd be a cool place for me to just concentrate on my music.
And how long were you there for?
I was there for 6 months.
And where did you record some stuff there?
I did. I recorded my whole first album there in a studio called Phase One Studios. I actually lived in the suburbs, in the Chinese district there.
So what street did you live on? Because we can erect a plaque and say that Enrique was there.
I lived in a Holiday Inn, actually.
You did?
I did.
So somewhere near Spadina, I'm thinking, right?
Yeah, it was. I just remember a lot of Chinese food and a lot of Indian food.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, Enrique
next to Phase One Studios. I don't know if that's still there.
But Enrique is a perfect Chinese name. You would have blended right in.
I would have.
So let's talk about sex and love.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you want to talk about sex and love?
Yeah. Let's talk about
whatever
it.
he wants to talk about.
First the album, and then...
Yeah. So you combine English and then Spanish, and when did this the process start with you writing this album?
Well, I've always wanted to make albums like this. That doesn't mean that in the future I'm just going to make albums that combine both languages. The reason why I was able to do it in the past few years with this album and with my prior album, because times have changed with the digital era. People can pick and choose their songs. So a long time ago, when I actually wanted to do this, or I felt that it was the right time to do this, record company thought it was, they weren't ready for it. Mm-hmm. And it's part of who I am, part of my culture. I grew up a lot with speaking Spanglish, and I feel comfortable writing in English, feel comfortable writing in Spanish. I don't speak either perfectly. I wish I did. And it's one of those things that if I get to write songs at the same time in English and Spanish, why not do the album exactly like that? In the future, if I just write songs in English, then I'll just put an English album, or vice versa. If I just write songs in Spanish, I'll just put a Spanish album.
Well, you're successful in both categories. That's
it's nice to have that flexibility.
Yeah,
it is.
Sure.
It really has been great, and it helps me because whenever I get stuck in Spanish, I go to English, or whenever I get stuck in English, I go to Spanish.
Let's talk about collaborations.
Yes, ma'am.
Your good friend Pitt, as you say, Pitbull.
Mr. 305.
He was here last night. We live in the same city. Actually, his best friend went to high school with me. That's how we met. And he's a good friend. We love collaborating together.
And so with other things too, with other collaborations you've done in the past, do you like doing that? Do you like?
I love it. I just did a collaboration with a song that actually we're adding to the album because I just translated it, which not a lot of times you get to translate songs and work. It's song number 3 on the album called Bailando, and it's I just did a collaboration with Sean Paul, and I still left it with Gente Zona and the Semet, and it's, for me, one of my favorite collaborations I've ever done.
Where do you do your writing?
That song I actually wrote a year and a half ago in Miami, and I never expected it to become one of my favorite songs on the album at the time.
But sometimes your song grows on you.
Yes, 100%. Every song is completely different.
Right.
Some songs you truly never know until they're completely finished. Although some songs the first few seconds, you just get that feel.
Yes, you know.
Yeah.
So what inspires you to write? Does something, you wake up with the idea? A lot of people say they wake up and the idea was planted in their dreams, that seed. Do you wake up from a dream and write? Were you inspired here, the last couple of days being in Barbados? Something strike you that you find yourself writing about?
That's happened to me before, in a dream, or it could be anything you're going through in that moment in your life, however you feel. It could be a fantasy. Some songs are supposed to, it's almost like you're in and out of character. You could actually, there's no rules. You could do whatever you want. So some songs are meant to be more serious, and they could reflect more what's something that's serious that's going on in your life, or some songs are just fantasies, and you just go crazy and write whatever you want.
When you were really young, you used music writing or writing songs as therapy, didn't you?
100%. It was, I always said that it was, I think it's what got me through my when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It's a tough age, and that helped me a lot.